Something that really pisses me off is when a physical therapist bashes soft tissue treatment modalities. These are garbage people, and at the core of their bashing is a deep sense of inadequacy about what they can do. Instead of looking internally and realizing they could be better at soft tissue treatments, which are the best option for treatment out there, they decide to talk shit about it to help shield their fragile egos. There's a lot to dissect on why they do this and how to handle it properly, especially recognizing the playbook they use every damn time to make you feel dumb. In this episode, I continue to share my dislike of those garbage practitioners, help you see through their bullshit tricks, and most importantly, give you a process to put these morons in their place. I hope you enjoy the show. I used a lot of colorful language, so don't listen around children because it is a good one. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Soft Tissue Revolution podcast, where we teach massage therapists a new treatment method that focuses on working smarter, not harder, allowing them to make well over $100,000 per year with less than 20 hours of time per week in the clinic. Dr. Matt Maggio here, creator of the Peak Method. Thank you so much for stopping by and listening to the podcast. I'm always grateful for all the downloads we get, people reaching out, really creating this soft tissue revolution, because at the end of the day, we got to get this care to more people so we can solve the pain pill epidemic and keep people the hell away from pain pills, injections, and surgeries, which only make things worse. So I hate that I have to make these, but I got pissed off this week and really how to handle when garbage, and I'm doubling down on that, garbage physical therapists bash soft tissue treatments. I see this a lot. I try not to consume too much social media. I'm going to make a later podcast about the idea of use social media, don't let it use you. But every once in a while I see some stuff or somebody might tag me in something and I just see the nonsense that's being spewed by these physical therapists. And I've had a lot of run-ins and encounters with them over the years, and they're just not very good at what they do. And they talk a lot of shit, but they don't have anything to really back it up. So I got tagged in 2 posts this week. The first one was the typical physical therapist. Oh, they were a DPT, so they're even better. They're a doctor of physical therapy. Yes, they're a doctor. So they really know their stuff. Was the same shit. How you can't fix scar tissue. And they went through and made fun of all these different treatment modalities, and they're nothing fixed scar tissue. They used the same study, same old bullshit. Then another one I saw was, I think it was a reel, and this physical therapist was walking around like an asshole, being the way people think, look at me when I can fix someone's injury without ever having to touch them and just prescribing exercises and taking them through motions. All that shit is bullshit. At the end of the day, manual therapy is the best, safest, most effective treatment modality out there. And people that aren't good at it, they like to bash it, talk shit about it, and just live on their high horse. And I've learned to ignore those people over the years, but in my older years, I've just realized that it's not worth arguing with those people, because at the end of the day, you can't argue with idiots, and it doesn't get you anywhere. But in my younger years, I'm going to go on 37 now, and this will be my 12th year in practice. The early years, I was ready to roll. I was ready to fight. I was ready to take these people to task. And I learned a lot over that. So let me break this down first, just from the psychology behind everything and someone not being good at something. So manual therapy and being really fucking good at soft tissue treatment is like learning an instrument. It needs time, it needs patience, it needs practice every single day and refining that. And the people that are the best at what they do, they have defined that skill. They have refined it as they've gone through, and they've got to be the best of the best at what they do. And it speaks loudly of what they do. They're getting results. They're getting paid, better than everyone else out there. They might have a booked up practice. They might have all sorts of shit going on, but the people behind that aren't good at things like that, they start to bash it. And there's 2 types of biases built in our human nature. One is conviction bias and one is confirmation bias. I talk about this a little more deeper in an older podcast, but basically conviction bias is, I just believe in what I do so much that I don't want to see any other data. You see this all the time in a lot of treatment modalities. Physical therapists do it, chiropractors do it. People do this in religion, politics, all that kind of stuff. conviction bias. Like they just believe so much in what they do that they don't want to look at any other data. They don't want to look at any other facts. They've made up their mind that what they do is the best and nothing else works. That's a real defeatist way to look at things. The other type of bias I said is confirmation bias, where you're going to look at data, you're going to be around people that fit your mold and what you do, and you're going to find that data to make sure it matches with your paradigm and where you are. You tend to follow the same type of people. You tend to interact with all sorts of people. You watch the same news source. You follow the same politics, all that shit in there. I like to kind of be in the middle and kind of look at it from both sides. Early in my career, yeah, I did have a lot of confirmation bias and was around people that only did what I did, and we just thought that's where we were at. So there's a lot of psychology behind that, and people that aren't good at something, they don't want to look internally and be like, hey, how can I be better? Like I could actually get really fucking good at this. Instead, they look externally and say, well, you're fucking stupid and your shit doesn't work. That's their own stuff. It's their own deep-rooted ego. So I have a 3-tier approach how to deal with these soft tissue bashers out there, these glorified personal trainers, basically what I call physical therapists. There are some good physical therapists out there that do soft tissue modality treatments. So that's like 5%. So this is talking to that 95% of you glorified personal trainers. I have a 3-tier approach for dealing with this. Tier 1, leave it the fuck alone. That's where I'm at now. I leave that shit alone. It's not worth it. You're going to get grouped attacked. You're going to get insulted. It's going to be a big waste of your time. And these people want to argue on the internet all day. If they were really fucking good at what they did, they wouldn't have all this extra time to argue with you, but they do in between clients because they're not booked up. They're not doing that. You got better things to do. I urge you to take this approach. Tier 1, this is what I do now. Tier 1, just avoid it. But people are going to, as humans, we like conflict. And when we get triggered, we want to go after it as well. So tier 2, recognizing their playbook. They all do the same exact shit. They spew out the same exact studies, the same exact nonsense. So I want you to be equipped for that. The first thing they do is they do the same study. And there was a study they did about how like it takes superhuman force to break down scar tissue in the body, and no one as a manual therapist or with an instrument can do this. This study was done on fascia very deep in the foot, which is very thick, very dense, and yeah, it does need a lot of pressure in there. So what these people do is they take one part of the study and then they correlate it with the rest of the body, and they can't understand that there's a world of like subtleties where maybe scar tissue just in a muscle belly doesn't need as much force and can be broken down. So they make this very like defeatist, like this is it. Soft tissue treatments don't work because they need superhuman force. And that's what they do. This is what that dickhead did in his post the other day, like laughing and showing it. It's the same study, same bullshit. And that's what they like. That's their go-to. You need superhuman force. It's not true. Actually, most soft tissue restrictions, especially in the muscles and around the ligaments and even around the nerves, they need about 6.8 pounds of force and tension in the right vector. And there's plenty of studies to prove that out there. So 6.8 pounds of force really isn't that much. That doesn't require superhuman strength. Next thing that they like to do is they ask about what research you have, and then they bash any research that's been done on soft tissue treatment modalities. So these people can't fathom in their mind, a lot of these studies that were done in like a university setting with like second or third year students that, in all honesty, aren't that fucking great at what they do. And a lot of the professors teaching there aren't very good either. Those that can't usually teach. So basically they run through these studies and then they get this conclusion that this stuff doesn't work, but they can't fathom in their mind that maybe there are people out there that are actually really fucking good at what they do. And they're the best of the best. They're not sitting in their fucking bubble all day doing research. Like, I don't give a fuck about research. Like, my research is done in my clinics with the people that I teach. And it does show that. And people are like, well, that's anecdotal evidence. Well, musculoskeletal research by itself isn't very good either, because you can't really isolate one factor. There's so many other factors to it. There could be metabolic issues. There could be what they do. There could be stress. There could be diet. There could be all sorts of things, and you can't really isolate one variable. So they always say, well, where's your research? And if there's no triple blind placebo, blah, 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 whatever study, then it doesn't matter. And I'm like, well, where the fuck is your research? Where the fuck is your research that shows that this stuff is going? Any musculoskeletal research that they do, they always find that they get a temporary fix, like acutely, to help some symptoms, but nothing long lasting. Like, I'm in the long lasting route, and that's done in the trenches doing the real shit. I don't got time to sit there and be a fucking nerdy professor and put all this shit down and like try to like pump up my ego and be like, well, I have research to back what I do. This is a results driven blah, 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 or evidence-based practice. Get the fuck out of here. I'm out there doing it. I'm doing it with my people, and they do it because they get better. I have real, objective, functional data that they actually get better. And I'm really fucking good at what I do. And the people that work with me are really good at what they do. They are busy. They are booked up. They don't have time to sit there and try to make some bullshit research that everyone's just going to pick apart. So that's tier 2. Tier 2 is one where you can play in a little bit and they will still get mad. But tier 3, this is my favorite one. This is when they start insulting you and they call you names. They tell you that you live in an echo chamber. They tell me that they feel bad for my clients because I am doing non-scientific based treatment. And how could anyone ever do that? Because if it's not proven in the research, it doesn't work. In the fancy bubble world, what else do they say? They tell me I'm an asshole. They tell me I'm stupid, all sorts of stuff. Now they're getting emotional. And I like when people get emotional because then I like to hit them back with facts. And I call this my drop your mic, go fuck yourself option. So basically at the end of the day, as soft tissue practitioners, people that are providing a tremendous value, people pay us out of pocket. They pay us cash for what we do. When they go to these physical therapists or even the chiropractors, it's covered by insurance. And I'm gonna be honest with you, insurance really doesn't cover much, and it only covers shit that really doesn't work. So these people are only getting people to come in because they take their insurance, and it doesn't really work. So what I hit them back with, I'm like, well, at the end of the day, I think the market determines what actually works. So what I'm able to do and what I've been able to do with my clinics and multiple people that I coach is we charge well over $100 for a 15-minute treatment. And that's paid for up front. It's actually paid for in packages of 10 to 12 to 20 visits. And I'm getting all that paid for up front. And that's because we're providing value. At the end of the day, people put their money where their mouth is. So if they're going to physical therapy, they know this shit doesn't work and they're just trying to check off a box because everyone has insurance. They want to use it. They're like, fuck, I want to use my insurance, but they know it doesn't work. We're the people that you see when all that other stuff doesn't work. So our shit is better. At the end of the day, it's just better. And they don't like to hear that. And then they'll come back at you and say, well, I don't really care about the money. You're greedy. You're just a charlatan, all that stuff. I'm like, hey man, I'm just getting fucking results out here crushing it every single day. And you're sitting there holding on to your little research and pretending like you're something that's really important and really special. But at the end of the day, you're just scared because you ain't on my fucking level. You ain't getting where we're going. You ain't on the mission to solve the pain pill epidemic. Conservative care treatment fucking sucks. And the reason it sucks is because of garbage physical therapists and chiropractors doing adjustments that don't do jack shit. People need quality, hands-on soft tissue treatment. It is the best treatment modality out there in the entire world. It's the safest and most effective, and this needs to be primary care. And when motherfuckers like this get out there and they bash soft tissue treatment with biased data, bullshit ego stuff, I just had enough of it. And I don't really want to engage with those people. And you know what? When you bring it back, when they insult, I actually do feel bad for their clients because they're getting a fucking hose job and they're not getting any better. I swore a lot on this podcast, but that's okay because this is a topic that is near and dear to my heart. I'm tired of these assholes just bashing stuff that really don't have anything great to bring to the argument or to the arena. If you're one of those 5% physical therapists that does manual treatment, hey, good job. You're doing a good job. But the rest of you guys can go fuck off. I think that's all I got. Go grab the free training. Still got a few spots left for my lumbar seminar in Utah. All the information is down through there. Quit taking shit from physical therapists. Share this with other people. Don't really argue with these people, but if you do want to argue, now you have a playbook of what to do. Continue to invest in being the best version of yourself and become unfuckable with. Unfuckable with means you are on a different level where the price doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you do because people know you are a true solutions provider. Appreciate you guys, and I will talk to you on the next one. Bye. Thanks so much for listening. If you want help on the path to being able to double your income, all while working 50% less and being taken seriously as a healthcare provider, I have some great resources for you. Number 1, get access to our free training modules and introduction to my system, the Peak Method. Number 2, subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Soft Tissue Revolution. Links to all of this can be found in the show notes. Lastly, if you like the show, please leave us a 5-star review and share it with others that you know it could help.